everybody. Happy Halloween and happy Labor Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day, and any other holidays or observances that went by since the last time I made one of these videos. Last year I made a video, it's a pretty good one, maybe you've seen it, about pumpkin spice bologna. And I made pumpkin spice bologna, pumpkin spice mortadella, I made some sandwiches that were delicious. It was pretty cool. But there's a much bigger player who's been in the harvest celebration themed lunch meats game longer than I have. Maybe you've heard of them. They're called Hormel Foods. A couple years ago, they came out with pumpkin spice Spam. And at the time, I wasn't able to get my hands on any and kind of figured I'd never get to try it. But through the magic of the secondary market, thank you eBay, I was able to pay much more than a reasonable person should have to pay and get my hands on a can of this pumpkin spice Spam. So, what to do with it? That has been my conundrum for the last couple of weeks since I was able to get this. Now I like a simple Spam sandwich or even a Spam and egg sandwich as much as the next guy. But there are tons of different ways to eat Spam and I love all of them. I like Spam fried rice. I like Korean army stew. I like dicing it up, frying it up, and then mixing it into some instant noodles. There's lots of different ways to do Spam, but one of my favorites is Spam Musubi. This is a Hawaiian thing. They have this at every 7-Eleven. You know, I've been making these for myself for years. They're fantastic. It's rice, short grain rice, kind of like a sushi rice. The Spam itself can just be plain. It can be coated with a little bit of like a teriyaki sauce like I have here, or like a chili garlic sauce like I've done here. And then it's wrapped in nori, which is seaweed like what is used in Japanese sushi.
So, Spam Musubi. Musubi? I never know how to pronounce it. Anyway, it's a favorite, however you say it, even if I make my chili garlic sauce a little too spicy sometimes. If I'm making Spam Musubi with pumpkin spice Spam, though, I need to buy all the way in and find a more harvest-themed grain to use than rice. Quinoa? Too hipstery. Millet? Maize? If you think about it, all grains are harvest grains, really. Turns out, I had the answer in front of me the whole time. I'm going to rice this pumpkin. I could cook the pumpkin first, and then put it through a ricer. That's basically going to give me a mashed, almost pureed texture, though. I want individual grains of pumpkin. So I'm julienning it with my mandolin slicer and cutting those long, thin strands into short, rice-like sections. To cook the pumpkin, I mixed in a little rice wine vinegar, mirin, and a splash of water to keep it from sticking to the pan. Then I got lazy and just cooked it in the microwave. Cover it in plastic wrap, 3 minutes on high, then stir, 3 minutes, then stir, etc., until the rice is tender but still just a touch al dente.
So, Hormel only made this once, in the autumn of 2019, a couple of years ago. It says best by August of 2022 here. Those remaining cans of it out there, use them up sometime in the next year or so, people. It probably will last longer than that, but best by. So, moment of truth. I have been wondering what this is going to be like. I gotta be honest, and so this is coming from a fan of Spam. Uncooked Spam kind of smells like dog food. And so this smells like pumpkin spice dog food. So it's a little browner than regular Spam, and there are specks that I presume are the spices. And yikes.
To make a musubi, first we'll place a strip of nori. Then we'll put our musubi mold across the nori. Fill the musubi mold partially with our pumpkin rice. Use the press to compress the rice in the mold and to hold the rice in place while the mold is removed. A little shake of furikake, which is a Japanese rice seasoning made with seaweed, dried fish, and sesame seeds. Then a slice of pumpkin spice spam, crisped up in a griddle and glazed with a little bit of teriyaki sauce. To finish, we'll wrap the nori around the rice and spam and use a little water to make it stick to itself. Here it is, our pumpkin spice spam musubi. And it's a good thing I wrapped it up right away because the riced pumpkin isn't sticking together as well as sushi rice does. But anyway, so let's very carefully give this a try. That's stupid. The pumpkin spice spam presents itself in a way that is very familiar, very similar to a curry or something like that than what you might think of as pumpkin spice. Maybe just because it's in a savory application and that's where your mind goes. But that riced pumpkin is a little bit sweet even on its own, and then there's a very thin glaze of some teriyaki on the pumpkin spice spam as well. So really, overall, the whole package is it's kind of making me laugh because it's just very dumb. So pumpkin spice spam musubi wasn't a total bust. It was a lot of work for something that in the end was kind of silly, but I'm glad I tried doing it. I'm glad I followed through on that idea. It was fun. But really, what I've wanted all along, ever since they first announced pumpkin spice spam, was to try it like this. Fried crisp, between two slices of buttered bread, the way spam is meant to be enjoyed. Yep, that's still not great. So I've had some time to unwind and kind of reflect on what it means that pumpkin spice spam is such utter trash. And I gotta tell you, I'm pretty pissed off about it. And here I am, right? Just one guy, one idiot, one schmuck with a sandwich blog. And I make pumpkin spice bologna that turns out pretty great. And pumpkin spice mortadella that is even better. Now, Hormel is a company with millions of dollars and an R&D department, one presumes, and this is what they turn out. I mean, it's no wonder they just made it that one time and never sold it again, right? It's just, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in you, Hormel. You can do better.